cosmic rays have reached a record right here on planet Earth. What does that mean for us? That's a question we're going to tackle. And welcome to today's newscast. It is October 7th, 2019. Our focus is cosmic rays. So what is going on, and are we affected by this? We're going to go over this report that was recently published in spaceweather.com. There's a number of other things that are taking place at this time. Keep those things in mind. We'll come back to them. And they relate to changes in the magnetic field. New reports coming out all the time that this is real, that this is a civilization resetting type of event that we are experiencing, and it's coming at a time in which we're seeing more asteroid flybys, and in some cases, breakup of these meteorites, dust falling upon the Earth, and then, of course, there's what they're not telling us. But let's focus now on cosmic rays. Solar minimum is underway, and it's a deep one. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Sunspot counts suggest it is one of the deepest minima of the past century. The sun's magnetic field has become weak, allowing extra cosmic rays into the solar system. Neutron monitors at an observatory in Finland show that cosmic rays are a percentage point away from a space age record. They've been counting cosmic rays since 1964. Taking a closer look at the chart before us, you can see the up and the down movement, and you could see where it's labeled solar minima. So for those that don't know, we see an abundance of cosmic rays when we see a decline in the solar cycle itself. And this has been ongoing. There's a number of radio shows you can find featuring Maurice Cotterell talking to George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM, and he's talking about the rise and fall of civilizations. So in my longer slideshow presentation, there's a couple bullet points there from Maurice Cotterell that I transcribed from the radio show itself. A lot of great information has been shared on The Sun, on Coast to Coast, and many other shows today. So looking at our world and our nation, experiencing a fair amount of unrest. Let's take a look at this cycle. I find a connection between fighting in the streets and cosmic rays. They do admit that there are cancer risks. If there are risks to elements of the health, why would behavioral response be eliminated from the equation? Answer: it wouldn't. And so here we have a rise in cosmic rays peaking up around 2010. And by the way, that was the period, as we see the cosmic rays going up here, right here where the arrow points, that was the period where I was much more active in talking about the sun. It wasn't necessarily connected to solar maxima. It was during that solar minima, going from 2008, 2009, coming out of the minima as the sun was becoming more active. But it didn't mean that we were out of the minima. There were still cosmic rays. See, you could see a decline in cosmic rays here around 2012, even a deep dip downward. Okay, we can also take a look at how it's rising as we're coming out of the recent solar cycle. See how we have a dip down right around the 2014-15 period. And right here, I'm looking at a little bit further to the edge of the picture, the period in which we've come out of recently, 2016, 2015. Researchers have been monitoring cosmic rays since 1964. When cosmic rays hit the Earth's atmosphere, they produce a spray of secondary particles that rain down on Earth's surface. Among these particles are neutrons. Okay. What is taking place in the bodies of humans in certain locations on the Earth in which they are more exposed to these neutrons? Because these are the questions that are running through my mind. I'm coming to you from over 7,500 feet in the state of Colorado, right? I'm from sea level. What happens when someone's biology is from sea level, when they go to a higher elevation and vice versa? They also do specific monitoring in Northern California with these space balloons, air balloons. And so they've been engaged in testing in certain areas. And according to Greg Braden and some of the points that he's made about the zero contour line that runs along the west coast of the United States, hypothesizing, and I find this interesting, that makes the west coast of the United States and places like it that run along the zero contour line, an invisible line around the planet. His theory that those places, compared to, say, Middle America, compared to, say, other places, the changes are much higher around the zero contour areas. And so his thesis regarding that in a particular article, I find it be very, very interesting and gives us maybe an additional perspective as to why we see such craziness on the West Coast. Why we see more, today we would maybe define it as far left versus far right fighting in the streets, but it's not limited to that. Politics. It can be seen in the suicide epidemics. I think that there's a connection, potentially, between how some humans may be affected by the cosmic rays and record suicides right now in the state of Colorado. It's going up. It's not declining. It's getting worse. Could there be a connection between certain types of what are labeled mental health problems and an explosion in cosmic rays? What we have seen in other reports is that the government has done some studies on psychic potential, like within their Stargate program. There were specific studies that were done with regards to the solar cycle, when the sun is more active, when the sun is less active, and higher levels of accuracy in their clandestine remote viewing program. And what they found was it wasn't necessarily one or the other, but they did find patterns. Like, for example, when the sun was less active, that there was a burst in accuracy from the people participating in that program. And so we are now dealing with a period of increased cosmic rays, a less active sun compared to the maximum cycle. This is the quiet before the storm. Then, thus, based on that equation, if any of this is true, would this also be a time in which many people are perhaps having visions, epiphanies, understanding ideas and concepts that which they did not understand previously? So this is all interesting information, data from Chinese satellite shedding light on cosmic rays. So briefly covering this, China is also looking at cosmic rays, and there's been a lot of cutting edge information that has been coming out of China regarding this. Have they discovered things that perhaps have been militarized and play a role in national security? I would say so, especially when you're dealing with the vulnerability of the power grid, especially when you're dealing with the reality that if one nation was to lose its grid and another nation was to not lose its grid, would that be a game changer? And of course, there's the top secret space exploration and the role that space weather plays in that, when you have a quieter cycle, for example, it's been reported that it is easier to travel, for example, with these crafts that they have out in space. And so they are concerned about the next solar cycle, even the president is, with regards to it potentially interrupting their Moon and Mars mission. Records, they say, are meant to be broken as 2019 comes to a close. Neutron counts are approaching the very highest levels seen since 2009 and 2010. A new record could be just weeks or months away. This is important because excess cosmic rays pose a health hazard to astronauts and polar air travelers. And so, again, here I am above 7,000 feet. I think Denver is probably closer to 6,000, 6,500 for some of the areas, but that's still far above sea level. And Colorado seems to be leading the way when it comes to certain things. And I think that this is important to reflect upon because we have a society that is resistant to new information and will often view new information from someone that it doesn't already know as fringe or a bunch of BS. And instead, people maybe get more attracted to the super sensational videos on YouTube that are maybe less informative. Hence the struggle of mankind and womankind in this day and age of widespread disinformation. So I will keep my eye on the story and other relevant stories that deal with our changing atmosphere, including the magnetic field, which recently they have come to understand has changed more times than previously thought.